Teofimo Lopez comfortably outboxes Josh Taylor to capture the WBO world title at 140 pounds. Let's talk about it. Now, the complexion of this fight may have appeared counterintuitive to the untrained observer because in the end, it was the 5'8" Lopez who controlled the action at long range and prevented the much taller Josh Taylor from landing his signature hooks and uppercuts at close range. Teo's superior athleticism was able to more than compensate for his lack of height and reach. Hence, in my fight preview, I said that I expected his sharpshooting on the outside to cause Taylor issues if Taylor decided to stand in front of him. And as it turned out, Taylor did, for the most part, try and hold center ring and box with Teo on the outside. There were moments when he tried to get on his bike and move a little bit and walk Teo onto shots, but that's really not his forte. He's at his best on his front foot, where he can walk opponents down behind his southpaw jab and bust them up on the inside with short punches. But Teo's explosive, accurate shots prevented all that. Whenever Taylor made a move to get up close, he was getting pinged by Teo's right hand. And Teo's defense was much more effective here than it has been for several fights because he was able to not only evade Taylor's southpaw jab, but also his hooks and uppercuts on the few occasions that Taylor did manage to get up close. Teo was able to prevent him from fighting his normal fight, essentially, and Taylor just couldn't adjust. The tactical change that was required by Taylor, in my view, was to get on his bike and force Teo to chase him and catch him reaching in with shots. But evidently, he just wasn't good enough on the back foot to pull that off. As I mentioned in my fight preview, his back foot game is not as effective as fellow southpaw Sandor Martin, who gave Teo a lot more trouble with those exact tactics. So Taylor was checkmated, basically. Teo had him in a box. He contained him and controlled him. Buzzed him on occasions. Taylor was definitely wary of the power and the speed and accuracy with which Teo could land that right hand. Later on in the fight, he started catching Taylor with uppercuts as Taylor attempted to come in a bit lower and get underneath the straight right. Josh Taylor is a fiery character, and we saw a little bit of that with some rough stuff early on in the fight. But that fire was completely extinguished by the end. In the late rounds, he looked like he'd resigned himself to defeat, quite honestly, and started to think more about survival than about victory. All three judges scored the fight in favor of Lopez, although two of the cards were a bit too close for comfort, but the right man got his hand raised. Good performance by Teo, a return to form for him. As for Josh Taylor, he says the layoff didn't affect him, but he also says he's moving up to 147 pounds. The implication being the weight cut affected him. Fighters and their fans often look for excuses after losing a fight they expected to win. But personally, I think the biggest problem for Taylor was Teo's style, his tactics, and his talent. The more fights you have, the more styles you encounter. Eventually, you're going to run into certain styles that you just can't deal with. I'm not saying the weight didn't affect Josh Taylor at all, because he is very big at 140 and he's been there his whole career. But based on what I saw, even a fully hydrated Josh Taylor would lose to Teofimo Lopez. That's my view. Anyway, Teo moves on to bigger and better things. He's now a belt holder at 140. There are big fights out there by way of unifications, but also big money fights with the likes of Ryan Garcia and maybe even Devin Haney moving up in weight. Teo is now a free agent, so he could potentially fight on any platform. With that being said, he actually claims he's going to retire. Make of that what you will. Floyd Mayweather was the one who started all this nonsense of doing these fake retirements every year, and we've seen people like Tyson Fury follow suit, and now perhaps Teofimo Lopez as well. We shall see. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also be sure to subscribe to my new live streaming channel here on YouTube. There's a link in the description box below. I'll catch you guys on the next video.